I looked into the deeper stuff, and I understood the deeper stuff, but it just did not. The episode didn't fit for me. I have watched it several times. I love Ahsoka. I think she's great. Um, I like the characters. I like uh, I don't know, Trace and Rafa. I think they're fun. They got a lot of potential. But I to me the story was lacking. It didn't have that jive. It didn't grab me like past episodes of Clone Wars or Ahsoka focused or clone episodes did. It just I don't know. It there was a lot that misfired for this episode for me. And I know that's probably an unpopular opinion because we're talking about the return of Ahsoka Tano to Clone Wars. And I accept that. But at the same point, I've always told you I'm gonna be honest with what I think about what we're reviewing. And the episode just did not float for me. So we will get into why it didn't flow for me, as well as other things from Gone with a Trace, which I just realized a few minutes ago was named after the new character introduced. I feel like a moron for not realizing that earlier, but we'll get into more of that here in a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Aaron and David here, and we are discussing Gone with a Trace. Right before the break, we both gave our opening thoughts on the episode, and there's a lot of good things in this episode. I'm not going to deny that. There was a lot of good things in this episode. But when we put it all together, it just didn't, like I said before, it just didn't jive for me. It's hard for me to just kind of put into words because there's some good stuff in it, and it's hard for me to say I didn't like Star Wars, and very few cases have I done that. I always try to find the best in the episode and the best in the things because it's all good. It's just some are better than others, and in this case for me there was a lot of things better than this. Let's talk Ahsoka. Let's just talk Ahsoka for a little bit because she's the focus of the episode, and it's going to be the focus of this arc because we need to get her background on what happened to her after she walked away from the Order and before she winds up, fighting her final battles on Mandalore and everything. So we see her riding her speeder bike across the top levels of Coruscant before she gets to that big round pit, which we've seen several times throughout the Clone Wars. And she begins to descend it on this old junked up speeder she bought. And she's wearing like mechanic overalls. Completely new outfit, completely new look for Ahsoka. When she first came on screen, David, what did you think of Ahsoka?
Well, I'm always excited to see her. That's why, you and I are huge Ahsoka fans, huge Ashley Eckstein fans. You and I have talked about Star Wars weekends as well, and getting to meet Ashley there. So I just love this character. And so when I saw her, when you hear Tom Kane doing his voiceover and really showing clips from the end of season 5 and setting this up, it was really cool to see her on the speeder and heading towards the lower levels. I do wonder, if it was a metaphor. As soon as she starts to head to these lower levels, the speeder, really crumps on her or just really breaks down, and so a sign of what's to come. Right, this is not going to go well for Ahsoka down here. There's change coming, and but. Again, just to really specifically answer your question, what did I think when I first saw her? I love it. I love seeing her, and I just can't believe, she's back after all these years. I guess I can. I mean, I guess I should say in Clone Wars again. It's been 8 years, but we've seen her in Rebels. We've seen her in um, what else have we seen her in? I guess that was huge to see her come back in Rebels. But I was excited. I was excited to see her. But just again, with you, wished it was a better episode. I thought about what you said, Aaron, a minute ago. Like as you were talking, I started to run through my head Ahsoka being in the Coruscant underworld in those last 4 episodes of season 5, and that arc, I don't know if you can top that. They're just incredible, and she's down there with Asajj Ventress and Barriss Offee's doing all her stuff. So when you look at those 4 episodes compared to this episode, yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. So those are just a few thoughts as you were talking and as we first see Ahsoka. What were your thoughts when you first saw her? Pretty pumped up?
Well, I really was. I was excited to see her. The look was interesting, because even though she wasn't in the order, I didn't expect her to have a change of clothes so quickly. Because it gives you the impression that this isn't far off from the when she walked away from the order. So I'm was a little surprised she had a change of clothes like that. I don't know if I like the coverall look, to be honest, but because it's not, it's not Ahsoka. It's a completely different look, and I understand that they needed to portray her looking for her. But I mean, she's trying to find her own. At this point, she's looking for a new identity. She's hunting, trying to figure out who she is. I mean, the people that she had, she worked for, and she had considered her friends, had betrayed her for so long. With the Jedi, or with everything that happened with Barriss. She lost her friends, she lost her masters. People that she thought she could trust are now gone. So it's like, what does she do? So I understand she's trying to find herself and, shredding the wardrobe that she had as a Jedi. I can understand being part of that. But I don't know, the whole mechanic themed Ahsoka just struck me a little weird. But I love Ahsoka. Don't get me wrong. I love Ahsoka. I was glad to see her, and I'm glad that we're getting more stories of her from this time frame, because it always has been a question: what happened to her after she left, before she became Fulcrum? And I'm glad we're getting to see these stories, but it just, I don't know, it's lacking for me.
Understood.
So, I will admit that one of my favorite part of this episode, to be perfectly honest, my favorite part of this episode is when we get to meet Ping-Tu Son-El, who of course is the thug that comes in to the shop to try to collect money that Rafa owes her. And of course, Rafa's not there, so Trace is dealing with him, and he basically just tells Ahsoka, "You just stay quiet and stay back and let me handle this." And Rafa, things go bad for Trace, and Ping-Tu Son-El's thugs are pretty much taking her to town and beating her up, and she gets pinned to a table, and they're hitting on her, and she looks up at Ahsoka, and she goes, "Okay, you can help me now." And next thing you know, one of the fists come flying in to hit Trace, and Ahsoka catches the hand and just holds it there. And it just doesn't move. And you see everybody just kind of turn and look at Ahsoka, and then she just whoops up on the thugs. And I thought that was a great scene. I loved that scene.
Oh, what? Look, Ahsoka kicking butt is always awesome.
Oh, exactly. I will say this though, and this is probably the hardest thing I have ever said. I don't think I'm just going to say it. I did not like Kevin Kiner's music for that scene. It
Well,
seemed too playful. It seemed too childish. It seemed, to me, it was a joke. It took away from the action. Um, and and don't get me wrong, if you've listened to me on any of my shows, I love Kevin Kiner. I worship his music. When it comes to soundtracks, it's John Williams, Kevin Kiner, Michael Giacchino. Um, I love Kiner. He does some of the best music for Star Wars out there, next to John Williams. But I think he just missed out on that. I don't understand why it's. I mean, I can kind of. I tried to justify it in my brain where, okay, well, it's that playful music because Ahsoka was just kind of toying with them because she really could have, killed them if she wanted to. She was just pretty much kind of toying with them. I tried to justify it to myself like that, but I couldn't even get past. I couldn't even, as much as I tried to accept that, I couldn't accept that, and I came up with that. But overall, I loved that scene. I mean, just seeing her in action again was incredible, and the final scene of the episode where the thing they were using
the load lifters. Or
no, not they were trying to catch the load lifter with it. The grappler, the yellow tractor grappler, whatever it is.
Like a forklift, like
forklift. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Forklift.
Yeah.
She uses a force to try to and pulls that back up. I loved that as she's trying to do it nonchalantly so nobody notices, and that one little kid standing there and realizes, wait, what? She's doing what?
Yeah.
I loved that. So this episode had some high points. It just altogether, I was hurt.
Well, let me ask you a question. Something that everyone's been tweeting about, including Kristen Baver, from, we see her at StarWars.com, and she does that weekly show now. We've seen her talk about it. Tom Spina has talked about it, is the classic 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures that we see in there, Hammerhead, Snaggletooth, Blue Snaggletooth, Greedo, and the Death Star droid. Did that help at all to see some of that, or was that just kind of window dressing in the background and you're like, yeah, that's great, that's fine, those are nice Easter eggs, but the episode is still, that can't save the episode?
Well, they were great Easter eggs. Don't get me wrong. They were great Easter eggs. I loved it. And even even Ahsoka's crash at the beginning when she's kind of running the speeder around the rim. That to me, that was very reminiscent of one of the maneuvers, or when they're in the volcano on Mortis. Same maneuver. She's running the speeder around the wall. I mean, it fit. Everything was just so good. There was a lot of Easter eggs, and I loved the Easter eggs, but it didn't push it over. It's not. An Easter egg by itself is not.
Right.
I mean, at this point, the only thing that would have saved this episode was Chopper rolling across the screen.
You're like, yep, A. Aaron would give it an A. Yep, if Chop's in it, good night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was, and I hate that because I love Clone Wars. I love everything Filoni does. I love these characters. I mean, Ashley Eckstein, James Arnott, they're part of the reason why I'm back in fandom again, back to doing what I do. But so I have a lot of loyalty to them, and I love them to death. Man, I I can honestly say, even though there were some good parts in the episode, overall, I can honestly say I ended the episode and I was still disappointed.
Well, I still keep thinking, again, not only